I love to argue. I love to be on the side of the underdog. There weren't many role models for me to follow. It just instilled in me this passion about arguing, the courtroom, the drama. People saw my face on buses going through Croydon. This is you. This can be you.
Can you share Black History Month has evolved over the years?
I actually don't like the fact that it's just called Black History Month. It's such a rich history, a rich contribution by black people to humanity. Just having Black History Month, in my view, is not enough. It's one thing for others to say, well, we recognize Black History Month for that month alone, but who says it should be restricted to that?
Welcome to The Conversation. I'm your host, Anthony McPherson. My guest on The Conversation today is Stephen Akinsanya, criminal barrister, advocacy trainer, and host to Life in Focus. Welcome to The Conversation,
Thank you.
Stephen.
Nice to see you, Anthony. Good morning.
Yes, Stephen, tell us about your journey in becoming a barrister and the work you do in Life in Focus.
Well, I have to go back, I guess, to the 10 or 12-year-old boy growing up in Croydon who used to watch a program called Crown Court. And I don't know, you must be able
Yes,
you
I
must
remember it.
And I remember watching that and just being in awe of the lawyers, hearing the way they spoke, and of course the wig and the gown. And of course, in those days, you didn't see anyone who looked like us. But that didn't deter me. I was thought, that's something I want to do. I love to argue. I love to be on the side of the underdog. And so that was where my interest in becoming a barrister was born. But again, there weren't many role models for me to follow. So I just started to read about really interesting cases when I used to go to the library. And it just instilled in me this passion about arguing, the courtroom, the drama, and why people had done the things that they'd been accused of. And so that was really my introduction into the world of law and the interest. And many, many years later, the whole purpose of Life in Focus, or the other part of it is called LifeofFocus, was all about inspiring young people to have passions as I did as a youngster. I've always been obsessed with destiny and purpose. You know, what's your life about? You have to live a life of focus, and your life is in focus. So it was a social enterprise platform that I developed to mentor and inspire young people to be the very best that they could be and to realize who they were. And so that was really the impetus for starting that.
Great. Yes, Stephen, also elaborate a bit about your bus campaign in Southeast London, or should I say around Southeast London and beyond.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be at a meeting held by some good friends of mine called Manhood Academy, who do great work with young children in the community. And I happened to meet a lady called Mel Hollett, who was part of a campaign called Young, Gifted and Black. And she got talking to me about this campaign for young people in Croydon, which is the borough where I grew up, to actually see visible role models.
Yes, let's put up a picture.
Not the pop stars and people that you usually call role models, but just people in the community doing great things. And so Mel invited me to be part of this campaign in conjunction with Global Media and the buses. And they had agreed to, for a period of, I think, about a month during Black History Month or towards the end of it, to have people from the borough represented on the side of buses. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the first people asked to be on the buses with my wig and gown. And yeah, people saw my face on buses going through Croydon. And it was really a way to say to youngsters, this can be you, but the play on the advert on the bus is, this is you. Mm-hmm. You can actually visibly see someone who looks like you, and I'm saying to them, this is you. This can be you. I've done it. There's nothing special about me. If you want to be a lawyer or you want to be anything else that the other contributors on the bus had shown. Well, that could be you. You could be a photographer, you could be an entrepreneur. Whatever it is you want to do, here are visible role models that you can see, and in fact they're tangible.
Yes, indeed, Stephen. Yes. Stephen, I noticed that you've been doing a lot of posts, especially around Black History Month. And I know you do it beyond Black History Month as well. Can you tell us about some of the posts that you've put out in regards to Black historical figures and so forth? And which one of those posts in particular has impacted you the most?
Well, I was inspired to do this last year, in fact, and when I started to do the research, I thought, wow, there's such a rich history, a rich contribution by black people to humanity, not just in the UK, but in the US and around the world. And how great it would be for people to know about these stories, which otherwise were untold and unknown. And so I decided to do it again this year. And I found out some amazing things. But to answer your question, one of the ones that inspired me particularly because of my field of law was a man called Christian Cole. And I discovered that Christian Cole had been at Oxford University in 1873. I mean, he was a graduate from Oxford. He was one of the first, if that the first, black African barrister to be called to the bar, practice in the UK, practice in the courts. And I read some amazing stories about him practicing law, arguing cases. Sadly, he died at 34. But his contribution is immeasurable. And for me, that was an indication that even back then, it was possible for a young man who was clearly academically gifted to be accepted into Oxford.
Yes.
So why should any youngster today feel that that is not a place for them to go and study? Because someone was the first. And I've always been obsessed with who was the first, who paved the way, on whose shoulders do I stand? And I stand on the shoulders of Christian Cole because he was the first.
Great. Yes. Can you share Black History Month has evolved over the years in the UK and what changes you've noticed in its observance?
Well, I actually don't like the fact that it's just called Black History Month. I prefer if we celebrated these things year round, and that's why in my posts I'm always looking to post informative things of history by black people throughout the year, not just for that month. But I have to say that there has been an acceptance and a recognition of its significance more than when I was sort of growing up. I don't think it ever existed. But in recent years, there has been an increase in celebrating it in more diverse ways, in more obvious ways, not just amongst those of us in the community, but corporately as well. I know that a lot of companies and businesses and organizations feed into wanting to celebrate Black History Month because of those who have African Caribbean heritage working within those organizations. But I would like to see it celebrated beyond just 1 month.
Yes, yes, and 2026 coming up, as I always discuss with my guests, will be the first centenary of Black History Month since its inception in 1926. Do you think that's a fitting moment for Black History Month to be changed to Black History Year, or, as you say, get rid of this Black History Month connotation?
I think it would be a perfect time. And because, as I say, just having Black History Month, in my view, it's my opinion, is not enough. And so how fitting it would be in 2026 with the centenary celebration to say, you know what, we're just going to call it Black History Year, or just Black History, just celebrate Black history, because it's important for our youngsters to know their history. And it shouldn't just be restricted to 31 days in October. It should be something which is celebrated all year round and part of a curriculum, if you will.
Yes. How do you think it can be included in the curriculum, well, anytime soon?
By getting those who are well versed in our history to be invited in as speakers into our schools and our colleges, where we are perhaps represented in much larger figures than certain parts of the country, so that our young people know.
Yes, Stephen, I mean, whilst doing your posts, I'm sure you come across a lot of black educators doing similar posts. So would you say there's not a lack of educators and people standing by to, disseminate this material within the educational sphere?
There certainly isn't a lack. There are many black educators, as I say, who are well versed in our history, and it's all about access and being given the opportunity to educate young people in our various schools, colleges, certainly within metropolitan cities where we are in a majority rather than a minority. And it's important in two ways, because first of all, it redresses the balance of what young people are told about the history, which is restricted to slavery, William Wilberforce, etc. And secondly, from my point of view, it empowers young people to think more of themselves. Many of the young people I represent don't see a future. Many of the young people I represent don't believe they fit into certain walks of life. I think that would change if young people were educated about their history and how far we have come.
Yes, indeed, Stephen. Yes, I mean, as far as the government is concerned, is it for us as the general public, professionals like yourself, to lobby government to make sure that by 2026, the first anniversary, some effort is made to elevate Black History Month to Black History Year, or whatever name we decide to call it?
There's an argument for lobbying. I'm not always sure how successful that is, because it's not always
What will be successful then?
I think taking the lead by those black educators, those who really have a vested interest, because I'm a firm believer, if you keep waiting for someone to assist you, you could be waiting forever. Sometimes you have to assist yourselves.
Yes, and we've been waiting a long time.
If you build it, they will come. And so I think it's incumbent on those of us who have a passion and a heart and a desire for this, build it, do it yourself, DIY.
Yes, exactly. So you would advocate for the name to be changed to Black History Year, or as I said, whatever name
Absolutely.
we decided?
Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, Stephen, as far as children, grandchildren are concerned, don't you believe it's time now for our generation to take this off their to-do list?
Yes, I think that's right. I mean, it's incumbent on us to really lead. We live in a time where people say they're leaders, but in my view, we're devoid of really good leaders. And so it's incumbent on those of us who understand what true leadership means and the impact that it has to step up and take the lead.
I mean, this Black History Month, I have to keep coming back to this. To me, it seems like an insult, to be frank, right? For what black people have contributed to humanity, to be thrown this, Black History Month, you can do this 1 month in the year, whether it's posters or post or what have you, and that's it. Aren't we worth more than that?
We are worth more than that, but that's incumbent on us to demonstrate to our communities that we're worth more than that by not just saying, okay, we restrict this to 1 month. We're going to teach this all year round to our young people. It's one thing for others to say, well, we recognize Black History Month for that month alone, but who says it should be restricted to that? But that's incumbent on us to say, you know what, we're going to carry this on beyond the month. Thank you very much for recognizing the month, but it's actually something that matters to us more than just a token month of celebration. It matters to the community, but that's on us to make sure that we do what is necessary for our young people to know their history. There's no point asking anyone else to do it.
Yes. Well, it's nice to know people like you, have that mindset. And Stephen Akinsanya, Thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
Thank you.